Hello and namaskar viewers, I am Sanjeev Pandya welcoming you to this week's edition of the Tax Talk with AJ. The show brings you all the latest that you need to know when it comes to taxes, personal taxes, corporate taxes or any tax related matter. We get you all the updates that you really need to know because taxes can be complicated and that's why you need to be updated, see what's happening with the taxes. And this is a show on South Asian TV, the only show brings you all the latest that you need to know about US taxes as well as foreign taxes such as India. The show is brought to you by Sai CPS Services with multiple locations in state of New Jersey. Their on-hand staff and knowledgeable and experienced CPAs will guide you in the right direction when it comes to individual taxes or corporate taxes. You can visit their website saicpsservices.com and book an appointment over the phone, or you can visit the office to get your taxes information correct. Sai CPS Services believes in one thing, to do taxes right, and that's why they have one of the most standard recognizable names in the CPA's world. With that note, I'd like to welcome Mr. AJ Kumar of Sai CPS Services, CPA and MBA with Sai CPS Services, over 30 years of experience. AJ, welcome to the show. Good to have you here. And
it's my pleasure.
Now I think it's a crunch time because March 15, the corporate tax deadline somewhat is passed. Now it comes to personal tax deadline and single LLC member deadline. So this is the crunch time because individual taxes load can be very, very heavy. So I'm sure you must be burning midnight oil, working 7.5 days a week. But I'm saying 7.5 days a week, but definitely 6.5 or close to 7 days a week. That's the time. But once again, folks, any tax-related matter, you can reach out to Sai CPS Services. Now, first question they will ask to you is that how can they help you? The reason I'm saying is that because IRS, when you go to their website on IRS portal, one of the questions, the first questions you will see is, how can we help you? And today we're going to talk about IRS portal, the website, which offers many services. Some of them you may know it, some of them you may not know it. So AJ has brought in a lot of information about irs.gov.
Absolutely. So today we'll talk about a portal that you can start on the IRS website itself. And the best thing, it applies to individual, single member LLC, partnership, corporation, for everybody. Social security number and or the EIN number. You can create your own portal on the IRS website. First time, it's a little bit time consuming. You have to go through the ID.me verification. You have to upload a copy of your driver's license, a few other information. But once the account is set up, it becomes a breeze. You can log into the account. You can see what taxes you have filed so far. You can see if there is any notice, any compliance related problem for your personal taxes, for your business, including the payroll taxes. You can see if you owe any money over there, you can schedule the payment. You can make the payment right there on the IRS website. If you made the payment and now you can't really pay it on that day, you can even cancel a pre-scheduled payment or reschedule it again. And you can always download your transcripts, which shows how much income tax you paid, what your income was, and it's all on your fingertips, right? With a click of a button. You go on the IRS website. Again, first time the process is a bit cumbersome, but after you have set it all up, it becomes a very, very useful tool.
All right. So one of the things I want to ask you is that have you noticed that irs.gov portal has been upgraded a lot in the last couple of years? They have added few services and they have also made the navigation to the different features on a portal very, very easy.
Yes, IRS keep working on making it more and more user friendly, keep adding a lot of new services. Say, for example, identity protection PIN. A lot of people have this IP PIN, they call it. If you forgot your PIN, you cannot file your taxes. You have to have that IP PIN, identity protection PIN, in order to file your taxes. And if you call IRS, they will never give you this IP identity protection PIN over the phone. They will have to physically mail it to you, which can delay the whole process by a week, if not 2 weeks. So if you have this portal, you can download this information. You can get your identity protection PIN right from their website immediately.
Okay, so that's the one thing, really good to know. So irs.gov, the portal, has added many features to make it user-friendly, whether for individual taxes or corporate taxes. Let me ask you a question. You say you can also make payments on irs.gov?
Yes, let's say if you owe some taxes and for your business it could be payroll taxes or income tax or anything from the business perspective, or for your personal taxes it could be estimated tax payment or back owed taxes. You can go on the IRS website, see what you owe and make the payment appropriately to that portal for that year for that type of liability.
Okay. And that is for whatever we're discussing is for individual and business taxes. There is no difference between these two categories. If one category offers that many features, the other category is the same as well, right?
Well, if you think about it, one is more related to SSN. When you talk about the Social Security, you won't really see the payroll taxes in the individual portal. But when it comes to business, you will have a lot more type of taxes, more information, more transcripts, because the business will typically have not just the business taxes, but other type of taxes as well. For individuals, you typically have the account transcript, tax return transcript, wage and income transcript, meaning for the individuals, the portal is limited to the information that's applicable to individuals.
Okay, and then they would also have the past year's tax returns already on the portal that you can review, you can print?
They don't typically have the full copy of the tax return. They have tax return transcript,
right.
Meaning in 2-3 pages they will have the main lines, the gross income, adjustments, AG, adjusted gross income, standard deduction or itemized deduction. So they will have a 2-3 page item summary over there, and they call it tax return transcript, as opposed to a full-fledged 50-page tax return over
Tax return transcripts are the ones that usually mortgage lenders, they ask for it. They ask for copies of the tax return, and to verify all the details on the tax return, they ask for transcripts.
Yes, so 4506, what the mortgage people typically ask for is used to get the tax return transcript to confirm that what the taxpayer is saying that they filed the taxes is what actually is filed. Sometimes they look for the account transcript as well, especially for the taxpayers who have self-employment income, meaning if you have W-2 income, most of your taxes are expected to be paid through W-2. But when you have self-employment income, you are on the hook to be making estimated tax payment. You are supposed to be making the tax payments every quarter or at the end of the year. In those cases, for self-employed people, just to make sure they don't owe any money to IRS, a lot of time mortgage people or the banks will also request the account transcript along with the tax return transcript.
Very, very useful information. Thank you so much for that part. Now let's move on to compliance issue. How does IRS really take care of compliance issue on their portal for the taxpayers?
Absolutely. So if you look at it from the individual taxpayer perspective, if you have not filed your taxes, in your tax return transcript, it will say no information available, tax return not filed. In that case, you can, from the same portal, you can download wage and income transcript, which will show how many W-2s you had, what W-2s you had. It wouldn't really show the complete copy of the W-2. It wouldn't really have the state-related information, but it will show major lines as how much income was there, how much income tax withholding, what was the Social Security withholding, what was the Medicare withholding. So all that information will show up on the wage and income transcript. If you received any K-1, any 1099 interest income, any mortgage interest payment that you made, all that information directly or indirectly gets submitted to IRS and gets on your wage and income transcript. This is for the individual taxpayer. So you can easily download this information, and when you file your taxes, you can ensure that you are in compliance with IRS. For business taxpayers, you can see if you have, let's say, the payroll tax filing obligation, but you have not hired any employee. So you are not filing the payroll tax reports, but when you started the business, you said you will have employees. So the IRS has enabled the payroll tax filing obligation for you. So from a compliance perspective, you can look at the website and see what obligations you have for your small business. For your business, what type of tax filing, tax forms you need to be filing, and then accordingly you can make sure that you file those forms and keep it compliant.
This is really interesting. I mean, they do a lot of work in putting all the information together on a digital platform for the taxpayers. So that way, most of the information are at fingertips. But like you said, that just to recap on what we discussed now in the first half, as we're going to go into the second half, is that irs.gov is a portal where you can actually log in and you can open your own identity and PIN number and everything, and then you can log in and you can verify a lot of information of your taxes. You can also make payments. You can also see what payments have you made and everything. That's the one part. And AJ just explained the compliance part. Compliance part tells you all about taxes, that whether taxes filed, not filed, what you owe, what you not owe. So that's all we discussed in the first half of this the Tax Talk with AJ right here on ITV Gold. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we've got more for you regarding this irs.gov portal. Stay with us. Welcome back to the second half of the Tax Talk with AJ. Once again, if you have just joined us, this is the show. Gives you all the latest information that you need to know when it comes to taxes, individual, corporate taxes. Yes, we are in a crunch time. Remember April 15th. Mark your date. If you haven't really started putting all the tax related documents together, it's time to do so. And if you haven't filed your tax return yet, it's time to consider. And this is the time when you are thinking about a CPA who can help you and guide you to have your taxes filed right. Believe me, Science CPA is your best option. You can visit their website, Science CPA Services, or you can give them a call, 908-888-8900. That's the phone number. Like I say, over the phone, in person, over Zoom, anything, meetings possible, and their knowledgeable staff will guide you in the right direction. So do not delay your taxes, because taxes must be filed on time. Even if you want to file extension, at least contact Science CPA Services and they'll take necessary information and file the extension way before the due date. So do not wait till the end. All right, as we are moving on to now, second half of the show, today we're discussing irs.gov portal. If you really haven't visited because you think you may not need it, because you have an accountant, files the taxes, gives you all the copies, you receive the refund or you send out a check for the payment, and that's it. But check out irs.gov. You'll be surprised and you'll be amazed how many great features it has. We discussed the personal part on irs.gov and a compliance matter. Now let's talk about eligibility and access when it comes to irs.gov.
So the question is, who is eligible to have the access to the portal? And I say everyone. If you have, of course, the individual, if you have ever filed a tax, you have a login over there already. You may have a partnership 1065 filer, 1120S filer, S corporation, 1120 filer, C corporation. So everybody is eligible. A social security number and EIN, as soon as you file the first tax return or as soon as some income is submitted on your behalf, it creates some information on your portal. So first time it's a little bit cumbersome. You go on the website, you justify that this is really you who wants access to this information. So you have to upload some driver license copy, you have to fill up a form. But once you have access to that system, once you have access to that portal, not only you can see all your prior years tax return transcript, you can also see current years or prior years wage and income transcript. You can see account transcript to see if you owe any money. So it's extremely useful tool from a compliance perspective.
Okay, now my question to you is, if somebody's filing jointly, that means a spouse can have an access also?
Well, you will have two separate portals. Husband portal will have income related to husband only in his wage and income tax transcript portal. Wife will have in her portal income related to her social security number, what is reported on her social security number in her portal. There will be some information that will be common, that will show up on both sides. Say for example, if they are filing a tax return, married filing joint tax return, that tax return transcript will show up on both portals.
Correct.
And it will clearly show that this is the primary, this is the secondary, but each of them will have to have their own portal to access wage and income transcript. Let's say for example, if the house is under wife's name and the mortgage is under her name, then the mortgage interest will show up under her portal, under her IRS login, not under the husband's login. So it depends on how this information is reported. Imagine a situation when everything is connected with your social security number. So the mortgage interest, bank interest, the earnings that you have, dividend, W-2, they're all somehow connected to your social security number. So whosever social security number is connected to that information will show up on their portal.
Okay, very interesting. Now let's move on to, are there any supporting forms and documents, the part of irs.gov website access?
Well, there are a lot of information available over there. If you are having problem in logging in, or if you are having problem in creating your portal, they have detailed information over there. They have a procedure over there. They have, for each type of error that you may encounter, they have a description around it. So there is a lot of supporting information available over there. When it comes to the IRS website, they also have how to understand each transcript. So there are account transcript, wage and income transcript, tax return transcript. So in detail, they explain you how to read through the transcript, how to understand this transcript as well.
Okay, interesting. Now let's talk about business, because I think businesses can really use this tool on irs.gov portal, right? What are the benefits for businesses through this portal?
So especially for businesses, less for individuals, more for businesses, because businesses typically have more than one compliance. So for an individual, the compliance that we have from IRS is filing the income tax. But when it comes to businesses, not only the income tax, there may be 2290 filing, there may be 941, 940. So there are a lot of different type of filing requirements that IRS has for a small business. So especially for a small business, having access to such a portal where they can see what filing requirements their business has, what filings have been done, what's not done, if there is any penalty, what are the due dates for each filing. So it becomes very easy for a small business to ensure that they remain compliant with the IRS system if they know what compliance is needed.
Okay, and any suggestion on how to get started on this business page? There's going to be a separate page, I believe, on the portal.
You're 100% right. That's where it becomes cumbersome. Let's say if you have 3 businesses, you literally need 4 or 5 portals. You have to have a different login for each portal. So for each business, you have to have a different portal. IRS does not really allow you to combine the personal and the business portals together, or multiple businesses into single portal. There are third-party softwares that are expensive, which some CPAs like us can afford it, just because we have a lot of clients who can use this service. But for most purpose, for an individual taxpayer, individual business owner, it will be expensive for them to have a software where they can combine multiple portal access into single screen. So you have to have multiple logins to access this information.
All right, interesting. Now let's talk about some other stuff. Just a question and that would come to mind. That how secure is this, especially business tax page?
I would assume that it's as secure as it practically gets. I mean, we are talking about federal government here. We are talking about Internal Revenue Service. I mean, if IRS is not secure, then nothing is. I think I'll be more concerned about security from an individual perspective, which machine you are using. Let's say, for example, you don't want to be accessing your IRS portal on a public computer.
Correct.
You don't want to be you don't want to be sitting on the airport on the public computer and trying to access your IRS portal. I mean, that's not, so it's not about the security from the IRS perspective. You just have to use common sense as how do you use the IRS portal.
Okay, so that's a business tax account page that we are talking about on IRS portal. Can anyone make changes on their business structure through this business tax account page on the portal?
It's not allowed over there. It's more of a view and download type of access.
Okay.
They don't really allow you to make changes to the business style. Let's say, for example, you cannot have your C corporation converted into S corporation on that portal. You have to really file the form 2553 with IRS and get it processed separately. To have it shown up as S Corp. You can't really log into the portal and say, from tomorrow onwards, I want my C Corp to become S Corp. And if you take a step back, please understand, there are a lot of tax consequences. When you change the structure type, it changes the tax liability for the business. The prior earnings may be taxable. Let's say, for example, if you're changing C Corp to S Corp, what happened to the retained earning? That retained earning has to be paid somehow, some taxes.
Yes.
So if the system allowed you to just flip-flop on the portal, then it wouldn't be possible for the government to track
To
who is
keep
paying
track
the,
of it.
the
And
tax
it
liability.
would even make a person like yours, accountant's job, really, really difficult
It will be difficult
to figure it out.
Absolutely, it will not be possible to see
Correct.
what happened and why it happened,
Yes.
and how it happened. So
But can
from-
someone go in and change a business name and address if they want to do that?
they don't allow it.
Acha.
So there are special forms around it. So so business name has a different form. You have to change the name. If you want to change the responsible party, there is a separate form. If you want to change the address, there is a separate form. So consider this portal as view only, download only type of access, as opposed to amending type of access, as opposed to making changes type of access.
Okay. Quickly, we have less than a minute to go. I've got two quick questions and a quick one-line answer. What is DO, Designated Officer, the IRS.gov portal mentions?
So designated officer is applicable for a business where the business can assign somebody as a designated officer to sign the tax return, to access the information, who doesn't have to be the owner of the company. Say Microsoft. Bill Gates owns Microsoft, but Bill Gates is not the one who is logging in. The person who is logging in, the chairperson, the CEO, the accountant over there, the controller, may not own anything on the Microsoft. So the designated officer is somebody who is authorized.
Who's authorized to
Absolutely.
access the portal? Last question: can someone view the IRS notices if they receive in the mail?
Yes, most notices will be available on the IRS portal. Again, you can't respond to it on that portal. You can download it, view it, see it, and then fill up the necessary forms to respond to that notice. So notices are there, except that you cannot really click the button and reply over there.
All right, very good. Viewers, there you go. Now you have all the homework to do until we meet again, same place, same time next week. AJ, thank you so very much for your time and guidance and suggestion. This is the Tax Talk with AJ. I am host Sanjeev Pandya, wishing you all happy, smiley, and tax-free days ahead. So long.
Thank you.